First, let's look at session-based authentication. The process usually starts when a user sends their login credentials, like a username and password, to the server. The server checks these credentials, and if they're valid, it creates a session for that user. This session information is stored on the server side. It might be saved in a database or in an in-memory cache system like Redis. Typically, the session data includes things like the user's ID, the session expiration time, and sometimes other metadata. Once the session is created, the server sends a session ID back to the client. This ID is usually stored in the browser as a cookie. From that point on, every time the client makes a request, the browser automatically sends that session cookie to the server. The server then uses the session ID to look up the session data in its session store. If the session exists and is still valid, the user is considered authenticated. The key idea here is simple. All session data is stored on the server, and the session ID acts like a key to retrieve it. One of the biggest advantages of sessions is that revoking access is very easy. If you want to log a user out or invalidate their access, you can simply delete their session from the server. Another benefit is that sensitive data stays on the server rather than being stored on the client. However, things can get a bit more complicated when you're working with distributed systems. If your application runs on multiple servers, all of them need access to the same session data. To solve this, developers usually use a centralized session store, like Redis or a distributed database. This works well, but it does introduce some additional complexity. It can also add a bit of latency, since the server may need to query the session store for every request. Now let's talk about JWT-based authentication. The first step is very similar. A user sends their login credentials to the server, and the server verifies them. If everything checks out, the server generates a JWT token. This token is then signed using a secret key, which ensures that the token cannot be modified or tampered with. The server sends this token back to the client, usually in the response body. The client then stores the token, often in local storage or sometimes in a cookie. For future requests, the client includes the JWT in the request headers, typically using the authorization header. When the server receives the request, it verifies the token's signature. If the signature is valid, the server trusts the data inside the token and treats the user as authenticated. The major difference here is that the server does not store session data. All the required information is contained directly inside the token itself. Because of this, JWT authentication is considered stateless. JWTs can be signed using several different algorithms. The most common ones are HMAC, RSA, ECDSA. HMAC is a symmetric algorithm, which means the same secret key is used for both signing and verifying the token. It's simple and efficient, but it also means that any service verifying the token must know the same secret key. RSA and ECDSA, on the other hand, use asymmetric cryptography. With these methods, a private key is used to sign the token and a public key is used to verify it. This allows the private key to remain secure, while other services can safely verify tokens using the public key. The trade-off is that asymmetric algorithms are usually a bit more complex and slightly slower than HMAC. One challenge with JWTs is handling token expiration. If a token gets stolen, it could potentially be used until it expires. To reduce this risk, many systems use short-lived access tokens along with refresh tokens. The access token is the JWT used for authentication in normal requests. It usually has a short lifespan, often around 15 minutes. The refresh token, on the other hand, lives much longer. It might last for several days or even weeks. When the access token expires, the client can send the refresh token to the server to request a new access token. If the refresh token is still valid and hasn't been revoked, the server issues a new access token. This process typically happens in the background without the user needing to log in again. It provides a good balance between security and user experience. You might be wondering, what if the refresh token gets stolen too? One common solution is binding the refresh token to device information like the device ID, IP address, or user agent. This data is stored on the server, so even if someone steals the refresh token, using it from another device or IP would cause the request to be rejected. If you want to learn how to implement JWT and session-based authentication, you can check out the videos linked in the description below. You can also continue learning software development by following the free courses available in the courses section of the channel. Additionally, you can support us by subscribing to the channel and joining as a member. Keep learning.